This is good shit.
When you live in a van, you've got several options for the toilet. You can walk through town to find a public toilet, go into the bush with your shovel, you can use a chemical toilet.
Bad news.
Or a composting toilet. One of the first things we wanted to do, converting this factory-built Purcell van into an off-grid beast, was to replace the chemical toilet with a more eco-friendly one, or at least a separating toilet. Having to empty what we not so affectionately called poo soup into a dump point every few days is not our idea of a great European road trip. Just opening one of these things can be enough to make you gag. Don't worry, we'll spare you the visuals. In our last van, we installed an airhead composting toilet. However, that had its own issues, with the wet composting material being an ideal breeding ground for insects. So with this new van, we were looking for a different option.
And this is our solution, the Trelino Mobile Composting Toilet.
The existing toilet we have here in the van is a Thetford cassette toilet. Hi, Nigel. This does kind of swivel around a little bit. Not that you really need it to at all. The cassette's actually been removed, so we're in the process of decommissioning this. This does have a flush, which seems good until you realise that obviously that's going to use up a lot more of your water. But the main thing that we don't like about this is it's chemical and it's not that environmentally friendly. The plan is we're going to completely remove this toilet and replace it.
Out you go, you nasty piece of work. You're gone.
And in with the new.
Sexy.
So let's talk about what makes the Trelino different. How about we take it out of the box, Nige?
That's a good idea. Look at that. Shit matters.
If you look at the Trelino website, there's so much poo humour. It's actually really good and fits with our aesthetic.
So light.
So it's a beautiful design.
Soft close.
Soft closed lid. How good's that in the night?
How cool's that? You're not going to wake me up.
I'm not, no. So as with most composting toilets, the Trelino is a separating toilet. Liquids in the front, solids in the back. But what makes this one a little bit different is, unlike Airhead and the Nature's Head where you add water to the mix for composting, this is a dry composting toilet. Now, we're not going to show you any of our poo or anything.
Yeah, so a bag goes in here, and then some whatever litter, leaf litter, kitty litter, anything like
sawdust.
that. And ready for use. Lid goes on. And then in here, this is obviously the container for the pee.
And what's really good about that is it has this little one-way valve here. So this is designed so that the wee goes through, but it doesn't come back out. So no splashes when you're driving. And it also helps prevent smells from coming back out of the toilet and into the van. And you can get replacement little valves too.
Yeah, right.
And the toilet does come with a full lid for the pee jug for obviously when you want to transport it to go and empty it. The other advantage with the separating toilet is it really reduces the amount of smells. Smells are caused when wee and poo, number 1 and number 2, mix together. So if you can keep them separate, it tends to stop the smells. We kind of think that it's the number 2 that smells, but in fact, once that dries out, it doesn't smell at all. It's actually the number 1s that smell a bit more. So by disposing of them more regularly, you're reducing the amount of smells in the toilet and in your van. When it comes to emptying out the toilet, the pee jug can just be emptied into a regular toilet. You can put it in a dump point, obviously. And if you're out in the bush and you've only got wee in it, I mean, you can always just empty it into the bush. Because let's face it, isn't that what men do? Go behind a tree.
The nice thing about it, this is what I love, I'm off for a poo.
Yep, some men really do like to go behind a tree. Now, the one thing I will say, ladies, is having used this a couple of times, you do need to be a little bit careful with your aim. I'm finding that I need to sit forward a little bit more. So, you know, just a little bit of practice there with your aim. And gentlemen, you will need to sit down to pee as well.
Well, I don't sit down.
Speaking of aiming, can you imagine trying to aim into this tiny hole? So Trelino do provide you with some bags to pop in the back. 10 of these in a packet, and these are recycled plastic.
Nice.
So that's a really nice size bag to go in the container at the back. And then after, you know, a few days or whatever, a few deposits, you can just take it out, tie it up and pop it into the bin. Just like you would do with your cat poo or dog poo. So this is the toilet all set up ready to go. We've actually attached it to the floor with Velcro, so we can take it in and out easily if we need to clean it thoroughly or if Nigel wants to do a poo in the bush. When we're ready to use the toilet, we simply need to take the lid off. And then we're going to take the lid off the back part here. And just pop some of this. So the litter that we're using is just wood shavings. So we've got these from my cousin here who does a lot of woodwork, and we're just going to sprinkle some of that into the bag ready for the first deposit. So that is all ready to go. And then when we make a deposit, we'll just sprinkle a little bit more of this on the top, and this will help to keep it dry and the smells at bay. So I'm going to pop this lid back on now until the time that we're ready for the first deposit, and then we'll take that off and leave that off.
There is an optional exhaust fan available with the kit, so you can retrofit that as well to help dry out the number twos.
So you'll be able to see behind the toilet setup here, this is where the fan goes and it's vented to the outside. So Nigel has fixed this little shroud over the hole where the fan comes out, and so that will simply vent out all of the nasty smells from the poo. And Nigel even popped this little switch there. So we actually won't operate the fan all the time. We'll wait until there's actually some poo in the toilet, and then we can switch the fan on. So that's the good thing about that. We don't need to run it all the time, just when the toilet is in use. The toilet that we have is the Evo, and it's the large one, so it's the tallest. You can get a medium and a small. On the website you'll see that they have different sizes, different colours, and even some with wooden lids. We like this one because it's the perfect size to get on and off. Being a little bit older and having weak knees, we don't have to do a full squat. So we just wanted to share a couple of composting toilet tips with you. Number one tip is regarding toilet paper. Now, Trelino says that you can pop your toilet paper into the solids container. We would suggest not to do that, and particularly with this dry toilet, because you're just introducing moisture into that area. We have always, even with our other composting toilet in our other van, used a little bin beside the toilet and popped the toilet paper into there, and then just throw that away in the regular household rubbish. Kind of like the Greek method, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, the small pipes and grease. The other advantages too, of course, you don't fill your toilet up as quickly.
Yeah. And the important thing is that it's only number one and number twos that go into the toilet. So ladies, if it's that time of the month, you can't be throwing your sanitary items into the composting toilet.
And that's where that separate little rubbish bin is handy, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And the other tip that we have is with regards to cleaning, particularly what we're going to call the pee jug. So we learned this the hard way with our airhead composting toilet that we had in the other van. If you rinse out the pee jug with regular water, what happens, Nige?
Well, it goes all crusty.
Yeah, you get a lot of like lime scale. So the big tip with cleaning the pea jug is to use a mix of vinegar and water. And also, as Trelino says, I think it's 7 parts water and 1 part vinegar. Just buy the regular white vinegar, the cheapest one you can in the supermarket. Put it into a spray bottle and give the bowl, the separator, a little bit of a spray each time you use it. That helps to keep that clean too. But definitely once you empty out the pea, every 2 to 3 days, give it a little mix with some water and vinegar. Don't use just straight water.
You're better off not to rinse it at all. Yeah.
So we're super excited about our new toilet solution. I think we've got the shit covered.
It's good shit.
If you've got any questions about the Trelino, drop a comment down below. And if you would like to get a Trelino composting toilet for your van, tiny house, boat, any other location where you might need a toilet such as this, we've popped a link down in the description for you if you would like to get your own Trelino. It's been a couple of weeks now and we're absolutely loving the Trelino composting toilet. We just want to say a big thank you to Trelino. Now, in the interests of transparency, we need to let you know that Trelino did send us this toilet to review. However, it was our choice. So when we were coming from Australia to Europe and looking at toilet options, we knew we didn't want the chemical toilet with the poo soup mix. So we were looking at different options for a composting toilet, and we'd started to see reviews for the Trelino online, and this is the one that we chose that we wanted to try out for ourselves. We will do an update a couple of months down the track just to let you know how it goes after a couple of months' time. But once again, thanks so much to Trelino, and thanks to you guys for watching this video. See you next time as we're back to our European road trip.
What's that time again?
Oh God, here he goes. Here's one for the bloopers, friends.
Oh!
Did you just...
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of pressure on.